Warriors, Sword Prepper here. Now, I know I said I didn't want to make this channel a doom and gloom type channel, but guess what? Doesn't appear I have a choice. Why? Because look at the news. More nuclear messages. More nuclear things coming out. Now they're saying, first of all, this article is very, I'll pop it up right here. This article is very, it's quite alarming. Nuclear winter, it says. First thing, nuclear winter. Nuclear winter. Then they talk about the blast, a nuclear winter with the US and Russia would wipe out, I believe, 63% of the Earth's population. Now that's kind of eerie. We should stop and think about that. First of all, the fact that they're talking about a nuclear winter in the first place, and by the way, this isn't the only article that I saw talking about more nuclear stuff. I mean, it's just all over the news now. But nuclear winter. Why are they talking about a nuclear winter? Why is it in the news in the first place? And why is it nuclear winter? Shouldn't that be alarming to anyone? Shouldn't that? Well, if you're not in on everything, if you're not really a prepper and you don't really know about, you're not really concerned about that, the nuclear winter tab is probably just gonna go right over your head. No offense to anyone. But if you've been paying attention to all this dark winter from Joe Biden talking about a dark winter and all the stuff, then that nuclear winter is kind of sticks out to you. They're talking about a nuclear winter. What are they planning for a nuclear winter? What are they planning with this whole nuclear winter thing? This is not the first article I've seen with that sort of headline, with that sort of tab. So we should be thinking about this. We should kind of start to study that and say, okay, well, what are they talking about? I've seen it here, I've seen it there. So Warriors, what does this mean for us? It means we should probably start thinking about a nuclear winter. We should probably start thinking about what we're gonna do in a doomsday winter, because it appears that this whole nuclear winter tab is just coming up everywhere now. They're talking about it, so we should be talking about it too. 63% of the world's population wiped out in a nuclear winter, in a nuclear confrontation between America and Russia. Makes one think. Are you going to be a part of that 63% that's wiped out? Are you going to be one of those people that got wiped out because they had nothing? They didn't prep. Now, mind you, a lot of the population they're talking about, they're rounding up, is people that were caught in the blast. People that were in the cities and in the densely populated places and got caught in the nuclear blast. That's who they're talking about. That's most of the people. But then the other few percent they're talking about was starvation, hunger and starvation. I covered a different article a little bit ago talking about the number of people that would die from hunger and starvation, and it was like 70%, or it was some high number. So that only leaves us with about 30% of humanity on Earth. 30% of the people there's only 30% of people left on Earth from right now, for the people that are left right now. Who is that 30%? Who is the 30% that they're talking about? It's kind of funny. Is that you? Are they talking about the preppers who prep for things like this and are living out in the middle of nowhere, away from the cities? Are they the 30% that's gonna part of the 30% that's gonna survive? Or are they talking about the elites and the ones who control the system? Because mind you, if any nuclear confrontation ever happened, they'd be in their bunkers, they'd be down in their labs and thing, and it wouldn't really affect them as far as nuclear blast goes. But they're talking about more than that. So are you going to be a part of the 63% that dies, or are you going to be a part of the 30 that doesn't die and is smart enough to live out on the land, to live out of the cities, live out of the way of the nuclear blasts and stuff? The fact that they're talking about this whole nuclear thing, this nuclear winter, mark that. Keep that in your mind. Keep that as a check marker. That they're not just saying a nuclear confrontation between the US and Russia. They're not just saying, yeah, nuclear confrontation. No, what they're saying is nuclear. The story starts with the tab nuclear winter. Nuclear winter. Let that sink in. So maybe they know something that we don't, or perhaps they're just assuming. Perhaps they're just assuming, well, if anything happened with a nuclear blast, then it would happen in the winter. Perhaps all that is just assumption, but I highly doubt it. If you all know me at all, you know that I know that all these news corporations, Fox, CNN, MSNBC, all these news corporations, they're all connected. They're all just one body, and they're just out there to keep the people divided. Fox News is for the MAGA people, the Trump supporters, and CNN is for the liberals. But it's all just one body. And if anyone who can't see that needs to do some research, it's all just one body trying to divide the people. So if one news article is privy to something, then the rest of them are as well. If one news station is privy to something, then the rest of them are as well. Which is why you keep seeing all these different different news articles talking about the same thing, talking about nuclear blasts and this and how many people would survive. They're really just ratcheting out up on the news. 33 appears in all these different news articles out of nowhere. Why do you think that is? Think about that. Anyway, so this nuclear deal, I don't know if I can say it enough. Which party are you going to be in? Are you going to be the 30% that's left? You're going to be part of that? Or are you going to be the 60-some% that dies off and wasn't ready, couldn't survive a nuclear blast? The days we're living in, guys. This is something else. The days we're living in. I can just imagine telling your grandkids and your children about, yeah, I was alive when the whole thing took place and society changed. I remember the days when you could go outside and you could walk down the road, go out to eat with your friends. I remember the days, when I could go out with my friends, have a good old time, go out to eat, go to the city over, go to the next city over, and just have a good time, play ball, go to the arcade, all that good stuff. Imagine you sitting in your living room now with in a winter setting and a fire burning in your stove, and you got your stuff outside, you got your cattle, your chickens outside or in a safe area, and your kids are all huddled around the fire, and you're about to go out and do your nightly watch, and you're telling them about the times you could remember when you lived in a society where stepping out your door wasn't a danger. Stepping out your door wasn't something you had to take stock on. You had to have your helmet, your gear on if you're even going to step out your door. They're not going to be able to believe you. When you could go to New York without getting irradiated, when New York was once a beautiful city, this beautiful place where people are of harmony, and now it's this barren wasteland that if you step foot in it, you'll be turned into some sort of mutant from all the radiation. It's going to be something if you're in that, if that ever happened. Mind you, I don't ever think we're going to live in. A lot of people I hear from the prepping community talk about this Mad Max world that we'll be living in, and everything will be just this dystopian Mad Max situation. I don't ever think we're going to get to that point. I always think there'll be a society of sort. I don't think we'll ever get to the point of just only tribes and here and there and little pockets of things here and there. I don't think we'll ever get to that point. I think there's always going to be a government, always going to be a higher society. But yeah, just things like that to think about. You won't be able to go out your door. I mean, these people are serious with what you're doing. With what they're doing, they're serious. They really do. This is not something they haven't thought about. All these news stations aren't just reporting on nuclear winters for no reason. So we very well could see a nuclear winter this year. We very well could see a nuclear winter, or perhaps next year. You don't know. We won't really know, but it's a very real possibility. So, you know, just prepare for that. Make sure you got, like I said, make sure your winter preps are ready, because your winter preps and your summer preps should look a little different. Not majorly, but they should look a little different. It should be a somewhat difference between the two. So, you know, we're heading into winter now. We're almost in fall. The summer's ending. So just make sure you got your winter preps ready. Make sure you're getting the things done, getting those things done. One more thing I wanted to talk about is aliens. Yeah, they talk about aliens in the news too. And how NASA, you know, the huge space corporation, is talking about, we're going to take this whole alien thing seriously. We're going to start doing some research in it, because the UFOs are real. UFOs are really out there. This is NASA, by the way. NASA, major corporation. And they really believe in this stuff. If you believe in aliens, that's here or there. That's your thing. I personally believe that aliens are just demons. Different forms of demons. Demons can shapeshift into anything they want. I believe that's all aliens are, just demons. But they're trying to play this thing off like, yeah, alien invasion could happen. UFO invasion could happen. All this is happening on the cusp of winter. On the cusp of a broken society. All these things playing up. So, you know, guys, just take these things into consideration. Like I said, the door for prepping won't be open forever. The door of being able to walk into Walmart and buy an extra can of beans, buy a bag of rice to put up in your prep store, won't be open forever. So make sure you're getting those things now. Make sure you're doing it now so that it won't be too late for you. Alright, warriors, keep out of the heat, keep prepping, and I'll see you in the line of battle.